In the unending silence of the cosmos, where stars flare into brilliance only to fade alone in cold obscurity, a machine built by human hands has just witnessed something no mind was ready for. The James Webb Space Telescope, our most sensitive eye cast into the dark, captured a signal so precise, so impossibly structured, that it has shaken the foundations of astronomy, physics, and perhaps consciousness itself. This wasn't just another nebula, nor the distant glow of a galaxy. This was revelation. An image not chaotic, but deliberate, not random, but architectural. A design hidden in the veil of stars. It started quietly. A routine observation of a barren region, a sector of sky long considered empty by Hubble, Spitzer, and every survey before. Webb was simply searching for faint signatures, perhaps relics of the early universe, hidden behind curtains of ancient dust. But what came through wasn't faint. It wasn't background noise. It shimmered with eerie regularity, not like a stellar explosion or galactic drift, but like a line drawn by an unseen hand. Infrared readings were unusually pure. No absorption lines. No typical spectral distortions. Just steady, flawless emission. As scientists processed the data, the pattern emerged sharper, cleaner, more impossible. Shapes that should not exist in nature. Perfect arcs. Symmetrical clusters. Ratios aligned with the golden mean. Geometry that spoke, not of chance, but of mind. Some thought it was a glitch. A software echo. But multiple independent analyses, run again and again, revealed the same conclusion: this was no artifact. It was real. It was intentional. Had we photographed something built? Whispers spread among elite research circles. Confidential meetings at space agencies. Private observatories receiving unexpected visits. Silence replaced disclosure. But secrets never stay buried. Eventually, the image leaked. A deep forum post with a haunting caption, "Not a star. A signal." Most dismissed it, science fiction, AI art. But those familiar with Webb's imaging knew better. The overlays, the filters, they were authentic. And then came the storm. Astronomers. YouTubers. Independent researchers. All tearing into the data with urgent obsession. And soon, a respected astrophysicist broke the silence live on air. Yes, it's real. And no, it's not natural. From there, the conversation changed forever. Not just in labs, but in temples, war rooms, parliaments. Theories emerged. Some said it was a higher dimensional projection, a 3D shadow of a 5D structure. Others saw it as a lens, a fold in space itself, perhaps even a corridor. A doorway. The Webb telescope, they said, hadn't just captured light. It had unlocked something. A transmission began. Not loud. Not even loud enough to hear unless you were listening differently. A soft rhythm in the signal. A pulse. So faint it escaped notice at first. But it repeated. At regular intervals. Measured. Like a heartbeat. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't stellar. It was structured. The pulse matched prime numbers. Mathematicians began to model it. And then the terrifying realization: it wasn't noise. It was code. The first signal of organized information ever recorded from deep space. The structure wasn't just to be seen. It was speaking. And somewhere in the pattern, one word began to emerge from. The implications were unbearable. Some theorized the object was responding, not just broadcasting, but replying. Buried deep in the timing of the pulses were echoes. Faint references to early human transmissions, radio waves we sent decades ago, now returning in a rhythm only our most advanced instruments could detect. We had sent messages to the stars for a century. But this was an answer. Not a message. Not a voice. Just a rhythm. A cosmic whisper. A breath in the darkness that said, "I see you too." Governments scrambled. New classified briefings. Scientific institutions silenced or redirected. Defense departments tested the geometry for potential technology. Religious leaders issued cautious proclamations, equal parts hope and terror. Others broke down, not from fear of aliens, but from the shattering of a fundamental illusion: that we were alone. That we were the observers, not the observed. The structure defied every law of space and physics we knew. It had mass where there should be none. It bent light in ways that shouldn't happen without immense gravity. And yet it floated in apparent stillness, silent and timeless, in the depths of a starless void. Scholars began to draw strange parallels. Symbols etched in ancient temples. Celestial alignments from Sumer to the Andes. Spirals, triangles, and prime sequences that now looked eerily familiar. Had we seen this before? Had we remembered it in myth, in symbol, in dream? Was this structure the source of humanity's oldest mysteries? A forgotten presence that once whispered and now has returned? Linguists dissected the number sequences. Patterns mirrored ancient languages. Some even claimed to find recursive grammar. Others said it was a manual, a warning, or a map. Then came the final blow. A last transmission. Not from Webb, but from deep within the last data packet it sent. One more pulse. Softer. Slower. A new rhythm. This one aligned, perfectly, with the timing of the image's public leak. As if it knew. As if it had waited for us to understand before responding again. A universal language, spoken not in words, but in time. In symmetry. In rhythm. And somewhere, in that final heartbeat of data, scientists and philosophers alike heard something they could not unhear: acknowledgement. In the stillness that followed, the world was left with a truth no one had asked for, but all could feel. This wasn't the end of exploration. It was the beginning of dialogue. The universe had blinked. And behind that blink was will. We thought we were looking. But perhaps, all along, we were being watched. The only question that remains: who spoke first? And more haunting still, what will they say next? The world did not sleep. Since the signal, the rhythms of Earth had changed. In observatories, bunkers, universities, and churches, a quiet panic simmered beneath the surface. We had heard the pulse. We had seen the shape. And now, something new had appeared. 72 hours after the final heartbeat embedded in Webb's last transmission, a second anomaly surfaced. But this time, it wasn't light. It wasn't a signal in the electromagnetic spectrum. It was gravitational. A faint distortion detected by the LIGO and Virgo interferometers, too subtle to be a merger, too smooth to be noise. It mirrored the frequency of the original structure's pulse, but inverted. As if the message had echoed through space-time itself, and come back, change. It wasn't just a reflection. It was a reply. Physicists called it the mirror signal. Whatever this was, it had mass, it